big bag of mints. You guys like mints? Alright, we have some t-shirts. And yeah, we got a bunch of information back there, so during lunch, find us, grab us. We got good basketball teams. Throw that out there too. So, we're talking about basketball. Alright, anyways, I want to just get started this morning. I have a question for you guys. I need an answer. So, how many people here want to waste your life? I'm gonna use you a little bit later. It's alright. Alright. How many people literally just want to waste your life? Want to spend your life when you make your life, want to say, you know what, I had a good life, I kind of wasted it, and I'm fine with that. How many people want to say that? Alright, that's the answer I was hoping for. Because if somebody really seriously raised their hand, something wrong. So I want to take a look this morning at a man that kind of wasted his life. And the ultimate judge of a wasted life is who? Is God. Alright, God's the creator of life. He's the one that has saved us. So he's the ultimate judge of a wasted life. 2 Peter 1:3 says that he's given us all things that pertain unto life and godliness. He's given us He's given us all things that pertain to life and godliness. He's given us everything that we need and everything that we need to live a life that is not wasted. Alright? So if none of us want to, none of you guys want to waste your life, I sure don't want to waste my life. That'd just be stupid. This class is 5 minutes slow, right? Yes. Okay, thank you. Alright. So take your Bible, turn to Luke chapter 12. I'm not at 3 points in a roll kind of guy. And I told Mr. Thompson this last night. So if you guys are taking notes, good luck, I guess. I mean that in the most encouraging way ever. Alright, Luke chapter 12, we're going to look through verses 13 through 21, and try to grab a couple verses after that as well. Well, Luke chapter 12, verses 13 through 21, look at a man that wasted his life. Before we look at that, let's just spend a couple minutes asking God for his help here. So let's pray. Heavenly Father God, you are holy, God, and we are sinners in need of your grace, Father, in need of your Spirit, to take a look at your word and learn something from it, Father. So I pray that you would help us to learn from this passage, Father. Give us the grace that we need to see what would be changed in our lives, Father, in my life, and all of our lives, Father. Just give us the grace to accomplish that, Father. We thank you for that. We love you. Pray this in your Son's name, amen. All right, Luke chapter 12, verse 13. Jesus would always go around teaching. That was very customary for him during his 3.5 years that he was doing his ministry. He would always go around teaching, and he would perform lots of miracles. And so he'd always have a big crowd that would gather, which made sense. If somebody was doing miracles today, I would go watch. I mean, it would be pretty cool to watch. You guys probably would too. So that's what he's doing here. He's teaching people. He's doing these miracles, and that's where we come. Verse 13. Somebody in that crowd comes up to him and tells him to do something. So somebody comes up. Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher." Verse 13, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me. So Jesus is teaching, doing all these miracles, healing people, and this man comes up out of nowhere and is like, Jesus, you need to tell my brother to share with me, to divide the inheritance with me. What had happened in this man's life, his father had just died, and so they were splitting up all his father's possessions between the sons. As was customary in those days, according to Deuteronomy 15, I think, they would split up the inheritance. If the father had 5 sons, all right, they would divide the inheritance 6 ways. The oldest son would get 2 portions, and the younger sons would each get 1 portion. All right, so this man is probably one of those younger sons, and he sees his oldest brother taking twice as much as he gets, and he sees something wrong with that. And he comes up to Jesus, and he tells Jesus, Jesus, this isn't fair. Tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me. And Jesus looks at it, and he's teaching all these people, he's healing people, this man comes up to him with this kind of obnoxious request, and Jesus just looks at him and almost sassy, almost with a little bit of sass, says, "Man, who made me a judge or arbitrator over you?" There were people set up in these days to take these matters too, just like Aaron and I are driving a red Impala. And if somebody took that, if somebody stole that, if somebody jacked that car, we would not go down to the gas station and be like, "Our car got stolen. Can you go tell those people to give it back to us?" I mean, that would just make no sense. And that's what this man is doing. He had judges, he had arbitrators, he had people to go to with this problem. But he comes to Jesus. And Jesus very well could have made this man share with him. Very well could have done that. But that wasn't his place. And so Jesus looks at him and says, "Man, why are you coming to me? Who made me a judge or arbitrator over you? It's not my place." But he sees what's in this man's heart. He sees what this man is really about. Because this man's father just died. Alright? So his family is probably going through some grieving here. But this man doesn't care about that. His father is either in heaven and hell. This man doesn't care about that either. This man cares about stuff. This man cares about what he's going to get out of that. So verse 15, Christ sees this man comes to him, sees this man's problem, and he turns to all these people. He turns to everybody that's following, and he teaches them. He says to them, "Take care and be on guard against all covetousness. For one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions." Life is not about stuff. Alright, this man's life, his life was about stuff. The man that came up to Jesus. His life was defined by what he had. That's why he comes to Jesus. And he's like, "Jesus, you need to tell my brother to share with me. You need to tell my brother to do that." And Christ is like, "I'm not a judge." And then turns to everybody and just points out not only the sin in this man's life, but the sin that can be so prevalent in all of our lives, the sin that can so easily ensnare us. And he says to all these people, "Take care and be on guard against all covetousness." Against wanting what you don't have. Against wanting what we don't have. I like cars. I see a brand new Corvette, and I'm just like, that's really cool. Anybody else like that? Alright, I'm hoping somewhere. Alright? But if I lived my life seeing that black shiny Corvette and saying, "I want that car," if I live my life for that, that's covetousness. That's a sin. Alright, that's what Jesus is talking about here. Take care, be on guard against all covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. And then it goes on to tell these people a parable. A parable is an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. It's something that people can relate to. So he tells them this parable, and he says the land of a rich man produced plentifully, which was common in those days. Everybody was a farmer. You didn't have 1,000 different occupations like we do now. A lot of farmers, all right? A ton of farmers, basically everybody farmed. And so this man, his crops did well that year. And so he says, and he thinks within himself, verse 17, he thought to himself, "What shall I do, for I have nowhere to store my crops?" And he said, "I will do this. I will tear down my barns, I will build large ones, and there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, and be merry." Alright, so that's the way this man in this parable is going to live his life. Alright, is there anything wrong with that? Anybody see anything wrong with that? What do you see?
That this man sees his whole life about stuff.
Alright, this man sees his whole life about stuff. Is there God anywhere in there? No, God is nowhere there. Alright? Ultimately, God was the one that gave this man all that crop. Alright? Yes, sir. Ma'am. Sorry.
That's kind of like idolatry, because he's not really paying God for all his crops.
Nope.
And
It's definite idolatry. It's definite idolatry. So this man gets all these crops, and he says to himself, "You know what? I'm gonna save all these up," and you see the philosophy in which he lived his life. Verse 19, and he says, "Soul." He says to himself, "You have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry." Basically, I'm gonna live my life for me. I'm gonna live my life doing what I want to do. That's what this man is saying. And there's a man that comes to him and says, "Tell my brother to share." Christ tells this parable and ultimately gets to the point where he's comparing this man to this man in this parable that says, "I have all these goods, I have all these things, so I'm just going to live my life how I want to, regardless of how God wants me to." And then verse 20, you kind of see what happens there. Ultimately, God is the judge of a wasted life. God's the judge of our life. When we're done living, God is the judge. He tells us, how we live. Well done, my good, faithful children. Or in this man's case, God says to this man who says, "I have many goods laid up for many years. I'm just going to take my ease. I'm going to relax. I'm going to do what I want to do." Verse 20, God said to him, "Fool." I don't like being called a fool. Anybody here like being called a fool? All right. I can take that. Like, I played basketball at Faith. I was all right. I fouled a little bit too much, and coach would always call me out to the side. There was one game. I was my senior year, so I should know better. I picked up 3 fouls in a very close game. We were ahead in the last minute of the game, just being stupid. If you guys know anything about basketball, I just lost all respect for me. So my coach would call me out on that instance. He was just like, "Yeah, that was stupid." All right, I can take that. All right, I can take being called a fool by my coach. All right, by my friends. But if there's ever anybody that I do not want to call me a fool, it's God. I think we would all agree. All right, I never want to be called a fool by God. That's because He's God. He's the ultimate judge. Everything is His. He controls everything. And for Him to call us a fool is saying something about how we live our lives. But God said to this man who lived this way, God said to him, "Fool, this very night your soul is required of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be?" All right, so this man's going to die that night. And all these crops, all these things, all the barns that he built to put all these more crops in, all those things, they're not his anymore. All right, when Donald Trump dies, how much stuff does he get to keep? None. We all agree with that? Anybody not agree with that? All right. Can I have you up here? Come up here. What's your name? Aiden? All right, everybody here goes. All right, what year are you? You're a senior? What do you like to do? Sleep, study? Not study. Just sleep. All right, that's okay. All right, I want to give you a shirt. That's all I want to do. All right? You can have this shirt one of 2 ways. You can have it for the next 10 minutes, and then you have to give it back. Or I can give it to you in 10 minutes, and you can have it for the rest of however long you want on the shirt. The rest of your life. What do you want? The second one? Why? All right. Okay. So you want it, you can have it for the rest of your life. Not for the next 10 minutes. Okay. Awesome. I'll be sure in 10 minutes. All right. That just kind of proves my point. See, Donald Trump, he has all these things. This man had all these crops for a very short time period in comparison with eternity. All right. Aiden could have had this shirt on for the next 10 minutes. And then he would have had to give it back. It wouldn't have been his anymore. All right? He made this smart choice. See, you don't want to waste your life. You don't want to waste your life. That just proves it right there. It's good. All right, so that just proves that point. All right? So this man, he takes all this stuff, puts it in these barns, and God says to him, "You're a fool. Because you're living your life for this little short extended period of time that we're on our life." James chapter 4, verses 13 through 17. James calls life a vapor. God calls life a vapor. It's short-lived. It's like fog in the morning. It's usually gone by noon. All right? And so God says to this man, fool, this night your soul is required of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be? All right? Donald Trump. Who's going to get his stuff when he dies? Probably people in his will, but not him. All right? And that's the same for all of us. The things that we live for, the stuff that we try to get. If I end up getting that Corvette and just driving it all the time, whose is it going to be when I die? Not mine. All right? I'm done. All right? And then Jesus makes that comparison from this man, this fool that God calls him. God makes the comparison of that man to whoever lives like that. Verse 21, so is the one who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. All right, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being rich. There's nothing wrong with having a brand new Corvette. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, but when that defines our life, when that's what we're living for, when we're living for that and not living for God, then there's something wrong. He goes on a little bit, verses 22 through 31. He talks about that, the things that we need, because we all want to live, to work, to accumulate the things that we need in life. All right, we all want to do that. That's natural. That's normal. All right, and he tells his disciples here so many times in those verses, don't worry about those things. All right, and then he tells them, verse 31, he's talking to his disciples here, the same line here. Instead, seek his kingdom, seek God's kingdom, and these things will be added to you. I'm going to take care of you. Seek my kingdom, seek me, and I'm going to take care of all these things. This verse 34 kind of reiterating what he said, just kind of recounting in their heads what he said. Verse 21, so is the one who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich for God. He defines that again. Says that again, verse 34, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. All right, so how many of us want to waste our lives? All right, none of us. I think that's very safe to say. This man in this parable, and even this, hopefully not. Hopefully this man that came to Jesus with this question, with this statement, Jesus telling my brother to share the inheritance, hopefully he saw his fault there and he changed his ways. Hopefully that happened. Hopefully that happened. But none of us want to live like this man in this parable where God calls us a fool. And ultimately that day is going to come. Ultimately, we're not going to be on 26. You guys are 18 through 13, 12, whatever. We're not going to be that age where eventually this life is going to come to an end. And we're going to have to stand before God. If you have your Bibles, turn to 1 John 2:28. This verse, 1 John 2:28, really hits home what we don't want to happen. John writes here, and now little children abide in him, abide in Christ, so that when he appears, when Christ comes back, when we stand before God, all right, when that happens, we may have confidence. All right, so we can stand before God, not knowing that he is not going to call us a fool. That we may have confidence and not shrink from him in shame at his coming, because there's going to be two reactions when we finally face God. There's going to be two reactions there. And we're all going to face it. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 is very clear on that. We're all going to face God and have to give an account for the way that we live our life. All right, this man in this parable would have to be this man that came to Jesus and asked that question, Jesus, tell my brother to share. He's going to have to stand before God. He's going to have to give life and account for his life. And we're all going to have to do that. I'm going to have to do that. All right, and there's going to be two reactions to that. One is going to be where God calls us a fool. And if that happens, that's going to hurt down deep. Because at that point, we don't have everything that we lived our lives for. We're just standing before God and saying, you didn't live your life for me, you're a fool. And he has all the right in the world to say that. Or we're going to have this reaction, and I'm going to abide in him so that when he appears, we may have confidence. Because we know that we lived our life for him. Not for stuff, not for comfort, anything else, but for him. All right? So that when he appears, we may have confidence and not shrink from him in shame at his coming. All right? in that way, all right?